Hi everyone, my name is Desiree Crooks and I'm the proud author of my debut Afrocentric children's novel, Nzingha, the Great Warrior of Angola. Definitely check out my 10-minute trailer. If you like what you see, click on the link that will take you to my fan page. You can watch the remaining 20 minutes of Act 1. Now, if you like Act 1, then purchase Act 2 and you'll be able to see the movie in its entirety. It's cheaper than a family meal. Not only is this a great movie to watch, but it is entertaining and educational for the entire family. I'll see you at the end of the trailer. Her name is Nzingha, and she is from the beautiful kingdom of Ndongo. She is the daughter of Ndambe Kalonji, the Angola of this land. Angola in her language means ruler or leader. Her mother's name is Kangela, and as a child, Kangela was stolen from her village by the Mbundu people and made a slave. She is now what one would call a Jaga. The word Jaga means outsider. And because of this, Nzingha's father could not take Kangela as his first wife, as this was not the custom, and the elders would never have allowed such a thing. Kangela has 3 daughters, Nzingha, Makambu, and Kafunji, and they have a half-brother named Mbandi, born to their father's first wife. This is her story, Nzingha, the Great Warrior of Angola. When Nzingha was born, her umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck. This was considered a sign of good luck amongst the people of her village, and in their native tongue was called Kujinga, which means to twist and turn. As a baby, her parents took her to be blessed by an old wise woman. Now, this old woman was said to have magical powers and could see into the future. In her vision, the old woman saw a grown Nzingha standing in a field of corn, and as the wind rushed through the crop, each corn stalk gently bent until they were all pointing in the same direction towards Nzingha. She stood defiant, with strength and determination in her eyes. The old woman told Kangela and the king that one day Nzingha would be ruler of the Mbundu kingdom. Her mother found it hard to believe such words. After all, she had given birth to a girl and not a boy child. Her father, on the other hand, just smiled and nodded his head in approval. The Portuguese arrived on the shores of the kingdom of Ndongo. They invaded this beautiful land. Their intentions were to destroy and uproot everything that came in their way. But Nzingha's father was a wise and strong king. He would drive them back into the sea. As the men were preparing for battle, Nzingha watched her father from afar. She was 12 years old now and almost a woman. She would soon walk her rite of passage, as that was the tradition of all the young women in the Mbundu kingdom, once they turned 13. She wanted to make her father very, very proud. So she promised to keep a watchful eye over her family until his return. And even though Nzingha's mother was a strong and fearless woman, after all, she was the wife of a king. Nzingha could see the worry and sadness in her mother's eyes each time her father went off into battle. She was also worried, but she dared not tell anyone. She was soon to become a woman and had to be brave and strong like her parents. She prayed to the ancestors to bring him and all the warriors home safely. Many moons passed, and still her father had not returned. As Nzingha sat daydreaming in the shade under a mango tree, she imagined herself fighting alongside him in battle. While strolling by, Kangela noticed her daughter deep in thought. Her mother sat quietly beside her, and it took a few moments before Nzingha realized she was there.
Your father is a very brave man. He has fought against the Portuguese many times before, and he always wins. Do not be afraid. The ancestors will protect him.
I am not afraid, Mother.
Then why are you sitting here watching your brother and sister attend classes instead of being over there learning with them?
Nzingha fired a harsh look directly at her mother.
You know I do not trust that priest.
Why must you use such words?
Her mother asked, but Nzingha remained silent.
Do you know how Priest Giovanni came to live in our village?
I do not care, Mother.
Her mother repeated the question again.
Nzingha, do you know the story of how he came to live here?
This time the answer was a sharp,
Yes, Mother. I've heard this story many times before.
Then enlighten me, my child.
her mother said softly. Nzingha never once saw or heard her mother angry. She was always so calm and so beautiful. She could now see why her father loved her mother so much. She did not want to repeat the story, but she felt ashamed for the way she had responded to her mother. So she honored the request. She made a loud sigh and reluctantly began.
When I was a baby, Father went to war with the Portuguese for the first time. He slaughtered them all with the exception of Priest Giovanni.
Nzingha picked up a stick and pointed it towards Priest Giovanni's hut.
That priest saved many of our peoples from boarding the big ships, which would have led to their deaths, so Father spared him. The Portuguese wanted to take Priest Giovanni's life when they found out what he was doing, but instead Father gave him refuge amongst our people. And in return, Priest Giovanni would teach Father the ways of the white man. Although he teaches all of us how to read and write in the enemy's tongue, and is a good servant to the king, I do not trust him. Father even allows him to come and go as he pleases. How can you trust the enemy? He could appear like a thief in the night and kill us all as we sleep. Or even worse, allow us to be taken away on the big ships across the wide open sea, never to see our homeland again. Mother, please, I do not want to learn from him. He could be a spy.
With laughter in her voice, Nzingha's mother replied,
You have such a wild imagination, my child. How is it possible for him to communicate with the Portuguese when they themselves want his head on a platter? This is home now.
Ah, that's what he told Father. But Mother, how do you know what he says is true?
The Portuguese are far to the north. That is a great distance from here. You and your sisters must learn Priest Giovanni's ways, as it will prove to be of great importance one day. He is an honorable man.
and with that, Candula stood up and walked away smiling. Nzingha would often hear the quiet voices of the ancestors as they guided her.
Why is it so hard for everyone to see what I see?
Nzingha whispered quietly to herself. All of a sudden, she heard her sisters Kafunji and Makambu calling out her name as they ran towards her.
Nzingha! Nzingha!
Exhausted, they both fell down next to her under the mango tree.
We missed you at class today.
Kafunji spoke with innocence in her voice. She was a soft and gentle soul, loved by everyone she came in contact with. Makambu, on the other hand, was not at all happy with her sister.
Where were you this time?
Makambu was very outspoken. She noticed everything and challenged Nzingha every given chance. Nzingha quickly snapped.
I had business to take care of. I was busy and unable to attend. Besides, I am a princess, and that priest is only a servant.
I see the way you look at him and the way you act towards him. Just admit it, Nzingha, you don't like Father Giovanni. Neither do you trust him.
Nzingha sprung to her feet. With fire in her eyes, she shouted.
What did you just call him?
Kafunji stood trembling, stuttering nervously to repeat her sister's words.
She called him Father Giovanni.
Nzingha glared at both of them, and with great anger and disgust in her voice, she spat.
How dare you refer to the enemy as father? We only have one father, and he is in Angola of this land.
Almost on the verge of tears, Kafunji replied,
But the priest told us to call him Father Giovanni.
He said that is the name you call a priest.
Nzingha became even more enraged and yelled at the top of her lungs.
I do not care what he told you to call him. We have only one father, and when he returns, I will make him aware of what this priest is trying to do. You must never refer to him by that title ever again. Do you hear me?
Both sisters nodded slowly and with shame and embarrassment promised never to call Priest Giovanni father again. Still upset, Nzingha decided to take a long walk to clear her head. While on her journey, she noticed her brother Mbandi playing with his friends. Feeling a little mischievous, Nzingha shouted over to him.
Hey, Mbandi, let's race.
Mbandi shouted back.
No, I'm busy.
Busy doing what?
She shouted in a teasing tone.
Are you afraid I will beat you? If you are to be the future king, surely you are not afraid of racing a girl, are you?
Mbandi's friends all began to giggle. She had embarrassed him in front of everyone. Not bad, huh? Now, if you like what you saw, purchase Act 2 and see the movie in its entirety. Again, it's less than the price of a family meal. Follow me on all my social medias: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the bell. That way, when a video is uploaded, you'll be notified right away. Peace and love. Until next time.